Hi, this is the most awkward video I've ever had to make. If you caught the Illumateers stream last night, then you've already heard the majority of what I'm about to say, but I thought it was important to still do so on my own channel. I've got a card reveal coming out later on today that I still need to record. I am going to be in the Disney Lorcana Discord main stage with the art team asking questions, which I'm really looking forward to, and just a ton of other content that's going on in the background and plans. But I do not feel like I can move forward and be myself and try and bring the excitement and energy that I try to bring to all of my work without addressing a few things. I am casting the Disney Lorcana World Championship, which is an absolute dream come true. Months and months ago, when I would daydream about getting this opportunity, and I imagined myself recording a video of celebration and giving thanks to the community whom without I would absolutely not be in the position that I'm in. I didn't dream that it would be this way and that it would feel like this, because I'm carrying an insane amount of guilt, and there's going to be, I'm sure, a lot of people that will say that there's absolutely no need for me to feel that way. So if that's you, thank you in advance. And like, in my heart of hearts, I agree, and if I was on the outside looking in, then I would probably say the same thing to someone. But it's just how I feel. Also, apologies, this video might be slightly laggy. I've noticed my camera is being laggy again. I tried restarting my computer 3 times to get it to behave, and it still doesn't seem to be. I might be able to fix it in post, but if it is a bit laggy, I apologise. But if I don't do this now, then it won't get done. But yeah, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Ultimately, there's going to be people who believe that all of or some of what I'm about to say is inappropriate, unnecessary, that maybe I should just shut up, and be happy that I got what I wanted, and not address any of it. But that's not me. I do care, and I'm carrying so much guilt for multiple reasons. First of all, I've already alluded to the fact that I'm super upset that Worlds is a closed event. I did not go to any DLCs in America last year or Continentals, and a couple of events that I would have liked to have paid to travel to, because in my head, I was going to be at that World Championship. Even if I wasn't asked to be involved in staff in any way, then I was absolutely going to attend as a guest to soak up the World Championship and to meet people. Because by gold, do I want to meet all the Americans. So if I'd have done all that and then found out that I wasn't able to attend the World Championship, I would have been absolutely devastated. And ultimately, I can't sit here and say I know how you feel. For those of you that wanted to go passionately and now can't, I can't sit here in good faith and say I know exactly how you feel, because I don't. I get to go, but I can empathise, and I know how much I was not doing all because I wanted to be at World, so I can empathise with how people feel, and I genuinely feel awful about it. I wanted it to be this huge spectacle at the European Championship. We had all the different language teams, and there was so much going on. It was a great atmosphere. I remember when the Pokemon World Championship came to London a few years ago, me and some friends just went as spectators, and it was incredible. It was such a good vibe, and it's exactly what I always envisioned for Disney Lorcana Worlds. I wanted to share it with everybody, and even selfishly as a caster, of course I wanted a crowd there to be able to to work, to get to sing along and try and create some really memorable moments. So I'm so sorry to everybody that was desperate to go and isn't able to go. So that's a big part of the guilt. The other guilt is in regard to my fellow casters. I of course have to give the biggest shout out to Spessy, who was my co-broadcaster right from the beginning. We've made a fantastic team, and I know that there are so many people out there who love the duo of Spessy and Baker. I wish he was going. I wish Ed was going. I wish Ross was going. I wish all of the EU different language teams were going. Bastian and Pascal from the German team, the Italian team, the French team. I wanted everybody to be there. And the fact that I am the only person from the EU that's going, of course it's an honour. And of course it's it's such a surreal moment, like to look at the incredible other very worthy people that could have been in the position. And the fact it's me. When I was told it was going to only be me, I was gobsmacked. But I do want to make one thing clear. I was not gobsmacked because I believe I deserved it any less than anybody. That wasn't the reason for it, and I apologise if that comes across the wrong way. Some of this inevitably is going to anyway. But that wasn't why. Just, I thought it was going to be this huge event. It's just not how I envisioned it. Am I pleased to be going? It is my dream come true. It is the cultivation of 20 plus years of work. I've made some notes on my phone here because I want to make sure I hit all the bullet points that I want to hit. And you know me, I'm a rambler. But yeah, this was meant to be like the happiest moment of my life. And that's still there. I don't want anyone to think that I'm just not appreciating it at all, because of course I am. Of course I am. But I still care so much, and I'm feeling an undeniable amount of guilt. If it was the other way round and it was me that was sat home and it was Spessy going or Ed going or Ross going, I would feel absolutely heartbroken. I really, really would. So I get it. Some of what I'm about to go on to talk about is some of you aren't going to be interested in it, either because you're just not interested or you just don't think it's appropriate to talk about these sort of things now. And fair enough, I see you, but I just have to speak my mind at this moment in time and get these feelings out. Otherwise, it's going to have a huge effect on me. From a young age, I wanted to do something with my life that was extraordinary. That is not right. Not everybody gets to do exactly what they want to do for a living. But I was prepared to make sacrifices to chase it for as long as possible. At one point, I was going to be a WWE superstar. At one point, I was going to be in the West, and by I was going to be, I mean, in my head, the dream. I was going to be on London's West End. I was going to be a voice actor in a big video game or a mocap actor. I was going to be the next Andy Serkis when it comes to playing monsters and creatures in films, things like that. I was going to be a scare actor. I've found so many interesting areas of performance over the years that I've been super passionate about. And it just so happens that at the most pivotal moment in my life, at 30, 31 at the time, I think 31 much older than that. I was 33 when I started Lorcana Villain. To have found something that I feel is so perfect for me. Not only being able to use my performance, my background as a performer, to try and make things entertaining and generally bring a good energy. I thought that was perfect for this sort of thing. My knowledge of Disney, my genuine passion for Disney and the effect it's had on my entire life, and my love for card games that was born when I was a teenager with Yu-Gi-Oh! I finally found the thing that I feel like I'm meant to do in this world. And I'm so proud of the success that we've had, and I'm so grateful for everyone that has been supportive. So while it may be completely meaningless to a lot of people, and that's fair enough, I get it, but I wanted to make it clear not only how grateful I am for the opportunity and what a big deal I really know it is, but that I'm not just, I got what I want, to the Shadow Realm with you. I care. I wanted other people to be there, and it's such an awkward position to be in, and a response to that could be, oh, well, woe is me, you feel awkward, you get to go to Worlds. I get that too. I do. So I understand this isn't going to come across well to everyone, but all I can do is speak my truth. The other thing I want to do is kind of stand up for myself a little bit and show why I'm so passionate about it and why it means so much to me. And so I'm going to talk about a couple of pretty deep things that I hope aren't too triggering for people, and I know isn't really the sort of energy that people come to my channel for. I try not to talk about these sort of things. Don't get me wrong, I've been open with the audience before when I've been going through tough times, and I've talked about my mum and things like that. But generally speaking, this is my content, right? People are coming here to be entertained, to be informed, to forget problems. So the last thing I want to do is be talking about my own on a regular basis. Plus, there's the fact that when you're as privileged as I've been to get to cast, to get all these unique content creator events, all these perks, I think it can be in very bad taste to then come and complain. And that's for me, by the way. Like, that is perfectly reasonable to not agree with that statement, to feel differently. I am not saying that my point of view is the correct point of view. Just for me, in myself, I've always felt really guilty of, like, whenever I've been tempted to moan and complain about something. But this is the time to just be open about a few things. Some people will interpret it as trying to garner sympathy, and there's nothing I can do to stop that point of view, although I would say it's a weird time to do it now after I've got what I want. Surely that would be something you did, like trying to get what you want, but whatever. So here we go. I have suffered my entire life, as I hope not, but law of averages. Some people will be able to relate, and some people will find this very shocking to hear, whereas some will probably find it incredibly easy to believe. I've suffered from the worst depression and anxiety as much of my life as I can possibly remember. The only times I've ever really felt happy is when I've been performing, whether it was on a stage, generally on a stage, but any aspect of my life where I've been performing, singing, acting, hosting, whatever it be, that is when I felt comfortable and when I generally felt at ease with everything. And every moment in between has always been just this super numb feeling, like, and being annoyed at yourself for feeling sorry for yourself. A lot of complaining here. I'm super sorry. I know this is going to come across really badly, but like we'll get it out. And that has been my whole life, basically. And then I moved home. I basically quit my performing job to move home and look after my mum full time, which I don't... What's the word? I have no issue with. It is my pleasure to do it. My mum is the closest person to me in the world. My best friend. I owe it to her, and I wouldn't want to do anything less. But then without being able to perform, that was spending an awful lot of my life just feeling like everything's a little bit hopeless. And there was a point after I moved home to look after my mum where I was able to do a scare acting job. Because it was only 1 month of work, and it was close enough to home that I could warrant it. And I put on what I believe to be my greatest performance of all time. It was when I was scare acting, and I created a character called Lucas Buckwheat, and I was so proud of that performance. And when it all came to an end, I was heartbroken, and I very nearly made a really selfish decision. Really sorry if I get overwhelmed here. I nearly made a very selfish decision because I was terrified to go back to that way of feeling. And like, it was so awful of me for so many reasons. Because in my head it was just like, wow, what a horrible thing to say. What a way to go out, like on a high. Thankfully, that didn't come to pass. At the time, I was doing my first YouTube channel, Baker Bulbasaur, which was a Pokemon channel, the point of that channel was never to, I'm going to make this my career and I'm going to try and like take a shot at this content creation thing. It was a hobby. I needed a creative outlet. I needed something to focus on. And it provided that. And it also provided me with a lot of training. I learned to edit. I learned to be in front of the camera as a content creator and as myself. Because I've been confident enough to walk on any stage in front of any amount of people my entire life. Because it's not me. It's someone I'm playing. And even when it's been an event where it's like, oh, a cabaret evening with Baker doing an hour of singing, like, and it's meant to be kind of just yourself singing songs, I still had a character that I kind of would refer to like give me that confidence to be who I can be on stage. So I'm very grateful for my experiences with that channel, and it really prepared me for when I discovered Lorcana. And at this point in life, I was in such a midlife crisis sort of stage. I'm 34 now. I will be 35 on the 1st of June. So yeah, I was 33 at the time. And I was having this super midlife crisis of, I'm 33 now. I've had a very fun career. I've got a lot of really cool memories. I've had great experiences. Like, I've lived. I've been on some really great adventures, but I am not set up for life. I'm not secure in life. I'm not financially stable. And if the worst was to happen tomorrow, I'm homeless. Like, that's how bad it is. And I discovered Lorcana at the exact right time, and it all started to succeed at the exact moment in life that I needed it to. And I'm so grateful and so lucky that happened. But I want to talk a little bit about that journey. Before I started the channel, after I started caring for my mum, I got something in the UK called carer's allowance. I'm sure there's something similar wherever you are in the world. And that equated to about £500 per month, which is okay. I don't think anyone's going to be making a comment saying, "Oh, you can live on £500 a month." It's not like it's not financially stable sort of money to be making. It's like living month to month. But that is also on the prerequisite that you get that money based on the fact that you're not making money elsewhere, or at least over a certain threshold. And once Lorcana Villain got to the point where it was making a little bit of money, but more importantly, when I started making DLC money, that got taken away completely, and I lost that. And don't get me wrong, for the months that I was doing DLC season, then that was like the best payday I had had in years and years and years. And a lot of that went towards paying off old debts, reinvesting into the channel, this £500 camera that I think is lagging, fun times, and bits and bobs to reinvest in myself. But I lost my carer's allowance, and then after DLC season ended, I was just getting the money I make through YouTube, which I'm going to be completely transparent about now. When you include ad revenue, memberships, and shout out to my members who have supported me that extra mile with like no extra content, one video, one vlog from Euros, which I am going to fix, and my sponsorship from Card Market, all in £350 a month is average what I make. I'm so grateful for that. Not everyone gets to say that they make that money for making YouTube videos. So I'm so grateful for it. But again, no one's telling me that's a livable amount of money. But I chose to make less money to continue to follow my passion and try and make this work. And as far as I was concerned, this was my last shot. Like, I was 33. I needed to be a little bit more financially secure at some point. And if this didn't work out, then that was probably the end of me chasing dreams. And I'm so lucky that I've achieved what I've achieved. I've also never tried to push monetization that much. Yeah, I mentioned memberships and they're shouted out at the end of my video. I've never offered coaching. The main reason for that is because, and again, this is just me, I think everyone has the right to monetize themselves how they wish, and it is up to the consumer to choose if they want to buy. As far as I'm concerned, I strongly believe that. But for me, I never felt in the past like I was a good enough player to warrant giving coaching. And especially because the fact of, if I was going to give coaching, because that's time away from making content, and rest assured, any moment I'm not making content, I'm seeing to my mum's needs the vast majority of the time. So if I was going to take more time away to do coaching, I would have to have priced myself at a reasonable, an affordable point for me to warrant the time. And I did not believe that I was good enough to warrant offering that to people. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure, and maybe this is like an inappropriate statement to make, but I'm just trying to be as real as possible. I'm sure that out of the 3,000 to 7,000 people that average my videos, I'm sure there was maybe at least 5 that would have paid it, even if not for feeling like that they could learn a lot, but just because they might have wanted to hang out with me, which is a mind-blowing thing to say, and it's super cringe. But like, be humble but not naive is one of the first lessons I learned in when I went to college to study drama. And I've always tried to follow that philosophy, but I've never wanted to do that because I didn't think it was warranted. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I never will in the future. I may end up giving coaching, offering coaching if I feel like I can bring something. And who knows, maybe in the future, there is a monetization behind, like, you know, a Discord to all hang out together or something like that. Because at the end of the day, I've got to support my career somehow. But it's never been something that I've leaned into. if anything, my hope for like trying to increase monetization is going to be my D&D Lorcana idea, which I know isn't going to be appealing to a lot of the audience who only care about the game itself. But there's been some excitement of me talking about my Lorcana D&D idea, and I'm hoping to make that early access for members, and hopefully that will help. And the long-term plan, if I'm being completely honest, is to sell myself as a DM running my D&D Lorcana campaign privately, and that is something that I do fully intend to monetize. But I've been working on this for a year plus, and I'm still not there yet. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it as content or as a private renter baker to DM for you until I feel like I can deliver on what I would charge for something like that. I also want to make the point of saying I would have loved the opportunity to have travelled a lot more in Lorcana. I would have loved to have gone all around Europe, to Sweden, Germany, go abroad and stream Lorcana. I would love to have had a full streaming set so that I can always show gameplay. I know some gameplay is on the channel, and that is only because of my incredible friend Fidget, who provides 95% of the equipment and the technical knowledge to help me to do that. So shout out to Fidget. But I always wanted a travelling streaming package of my own. I've not been in a position where I've been able to afford it. I would have loved to have my flights and stuff paid for to go to all these third-party events. It's just not something that's been offered to me, of course, except shout out to Law League, who did bring me to Italy, paid my travel, paid my accommodation, fed me. That's all I needed. Like, I didn't ask for a fee or anything like that. I just wanted to be involved. So shout out to you guys. But I just want to make the point of, like, if those opportunities had been there for me, I would have absolutely jumped on them as much as possible. Casting third-party events, like, I do the LC3 as much as possible. I've not really been able to do, like, again, there's like the 20 Law Pro events and the ICL and stuff, which is generally not finished until like 5 in the morning my time, and I am quite often up late. But the reason I'm quite often up late, if it's not because I'm working, is because my mum has fallen in the night, and man, I'm so sorry. Because my mum's needed my attention. And then, after I've seen to her, and she spent 20 seconds not recognising who I am. Sometimes at 3 in the morning, the deck lists go live from whatever event has just happened, and I'm straight on it to try and get them out. Not only because I want to provide that content for people, but because it's the only thing that makes me happy. I love this game so much, and I talked about my history of depression, and whenever I wasn't performing, just defaulting back to feeling numb and useless. And for the first time in my life, that is not the case. I'm not cured of it. I have my down days and my down moments, but since Lorcana came along and I feel like I found my home in it, it's been better. Like, my in-between moments, I'm more optimistic, I'm brighter, I'm happier, and it has been the greatest thing that has ever happened to me. Every second I'm thinking about Lorcana, I'm consuming everybody's content, I'm studying the lore, I'm rewatching Disney films, I'm studying the card pool so that I have the best knowledge of the card pool possible, and I'm going to say for myself, I think I have one of the highest knowledges of the card pool overall. Even the sub-names and the flavour text, don't get me wrong, I'm always going to make mistakes, but I put so much work into trying to know this game as well as possible, to bring Disney magic to it, but not only that, be the best player that I could possibly be for these high level of play events. And I can say it 100%, at the beginning of my Lorcana career, or even 6 months ago, I was not the player that I am now. At the first DLC in Lille, like, I was not an amazing player. I think I was fine. I think I understood the game as a commentator better than I played it. And I think I was perfectly acceptable at it. And I thought the other stuff that I bring to a broadcast, I felt comfortable in the chair, let's put it that way. But I've spent the last 6 months, more or less, trying to make myself the best possible player that I can be in the game, so that I can talk about these things at the high level that the competitive players want this stuff to be discussed at, while maintaining the Disney cheese and magic that appeals to the casuals, the beginners, and the people that do appreciate that Disney magic. I believe I was born to do this, and I respect anybody's right to feel confident with their abilities. I absolutely think that to do things like this, you do need to have a degree of confidence in your abilities, 100%. And so many other people deserve to be up there with me. Or maybe even in place of me. That will be the perspective of some. And again, that's reasonable. You're not going to please everyone. I know there's going to be some people that wish it were the other way around, and that's fine. Like, you are allowed to choose. But I want to say one thing. As far as I'm concerned, I worked every bit as hard as anybody that you can point a finger at in this community. Does that mean I deserved it more? No, that's not for me to say. But I've put my absolute everything into this, and I'm so grateful for everybody that has been supportive. And there have been an awful lot of really supportive comments for me out there. It's bittersweet, because again, I feel incredible amount of guilt, and if it was the other way around, I would be heartbroken. But it's not right for me to not shout out and give my appreciation for those that have been supportive of me achieving my dream. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This has been half an hour longer than I wanted it to be, but there you go. I'm sorry if anyone thinks that anything I said here was inappropriate or just unnecessary. Like, very nearly didn't do this at all, but I want to be able to move forwards with when it comes to content and just my life, and like, I want to be able to enjoy it and celebrate the success. And I just wouldn't have felt right going into a card review video and being on the main stage and talking to the artists, etc., and just pushing it all down and ignoring all these things. I needed to get them out because I'm so excited for the future of the game. I really, really am, and I just want to say again how grateful I am. But yeah, apologies for getting a bit overwhelmed during this, and apologies that some of it is probably a little woe is me and self-absorbed. But I felt these things were important to say. That's pretty much it. There'll be another video later on today, card reveal, and I'll be on the Disney Lorcana main stage. I'm going to take a little bit of time to reset and hopefully come back into that with the energy that I like to bring to Disney Lorcana. But that's it. Thank you.